phone calls, lawyers, fucking this, that. Oof. I just woke up. It's Thursday morning. Happy. I'm not Jewish, so I'm Armenian. Happy holidays. Now, I see a lot of stuff. Let me just say a couple things because I'm going to get into something that Tom and his little bots and fake accounts and whoever's doing the Bob, the nuclear assault, the guy that goes on Gus pages and stuff. I'm gonna show you how you get rid of bots real easy with words or backing stuff up. You don't say stuff right away. Some people don't deal with it. I like to deal with it because I can justify what I do. I can knock them down a whole nother level if I want to. And I'm going to show you how I do that. But the whole thing is wherever you live, Tom, and not just Tom, but I'm saying that in general. And we both know where Franklin is. And I'm going to get into, because Tom says, I made some comments on Voyage's page, and oh, you ain't got no money. How are you buying properties and this and that? He always makes accusations without knowing. So I'm going to show you how I take him from here and knock him all the way down here. Even with my band Hair Days, that I make more money per hour than he does playing with Joe Walsh. I'm going to show you. So, a cover band, you're in a cover band, a tribute band, and you make more per hour than Tom doing a show. Well, if you add the 2 hours of my show up per hour, which I can prove because I have invoices from the city, we're going to get into all that. See, this is why I don't divulge all the information at first. Because I'm going to show you that Tom doesn't really get paid what he's worth, really. I'm going to stick up for him here. The session stuff that he does and the shows that he does, these guys that go out, but again, they're just hired guns. See, I command my own money. They're told what they'll get. You want to do the Joe Walsh talk? It's $800 a show. You do 3 shows, it's, $2,400 a week. Pay your taxes. You're looking at $1,500-$1,600 a week. Clear. That's good money. But not as good as I make. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove it. I'm also going to see there's the 59. It needs some tuning pegs put in. The ones are stripping. They keep falling apart. I had someone look at it. I was going to sell it. I didn't sell it. And what we're going to do is I have up here my Ephiphone. And I have that black one's 1 to 300, the 58, the white one, and my silver one. So we're gonna do a little shootout through the same amp in one shot, and then you get to see everything. Now let me go into the Tom thing really quick, and I got some stuff coming up too. Again, I just woke up. So Tom made some comments to me, and this is to address it personally. So, let's start off with this. Let me block my name out. So, he talks about Rat coming there. So, let me explain how you knock somebody like him down. And this is to help Tom in the future. So, Tom said, Rat, I don't care what you wrote, and blah, 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 I'm sure, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you're saying Rat sucks, their one song, Round and Round, outsold 2,000 sessions that you did. One song outsold all your work, your life's work. One record with one song, Round and Round, let me say that again, outsold your entire career catalog. So what's that say about your catalog? You're saying it, I'm not. That's how you put your foot in your mouth. Second, you said, how am I going to buy houses in Franklin? And we both know what Franklin is, don't we, buddy? So let's leave this for the kicker. So this is what I like to do. I don't divulge information right away. There's my name. And what are these? These are my tax accountant people and consultants. This is 1 year's worth. This is for each business. And no, it's not just, so like if I take the back one, let's see, with receipts and stuff and all that kind of stuff. It's all in there. There's another one here. There's one there. There's another one with my name, ripped. Let's see if I can block that out. There's another one. So he wants to know, you ain't got no money. I got tons of money, buddy. Who the fuck in a cover band has taxes like this in a year? I'm not going to show you my financials, but I'm going to tell you, you're smart. You didn't bet me, because this is 1 year's worth. And I'm talking millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. This has everything. It's cataloged for a year by each corporation, each charity, each foundation. That's how it goes in and comes out. That's how I'm able to buy certain things. Like houses in your neighborhood. 3 of them. We're going to be best friends, ain't we, buddy? Gus is going to come over and we're going to light that motherfucker up. Second, I'm going to do a shootout with the 59 and show you how shitty it is. It's not that it's shitty. It sounds different. And for me, it's not as good as a modern one. Now, we're going to put that up against all of them, including the Ephiphone. And I'm going to say, does this warrant the price of $400K versus $700? No. Hair Days. You know the band that you always mocking, Tom? Hair Days. There's my name under Hair Days, because it's my band. This is an invoice from the City of Sunrise. See it? You can read it all right there. City of Sunrise, blah, blah, blah. Description. Sorry about the coffee stain, soda stain, whatever it is. There's my rate. 2 hours, $1,000 per hour, $2,000. There's not one fucking band in Nashville that makes $1,000 an hour. Now this, granted, this is 7 years ago. Now I get $1,500 an hour, which leads me into we will be playing October 16th Boot Hill opening ceremonies for Bike Week in Daytona, 6:30 to 8 on the main stage in front of thousands upon thousands of people. So Tom, if I pay my members X amount of money cash, and I do all the taxes and blah, 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 and whatever and everything, so I write this off, and I use business expenses and cars and transports and the trailers and the lights and the fog machines as rentals. This actually $2,000 turns into about $4,000 with my back line and everything else. So this is a separate bill, but this is my rate just for the band. This isn't including backline, because that's through other companies. This is just for Hair Days, the band, not the LLC that rents the gear back to myself. Like I rent that guitar and that guitar and that guitar. It all gets rented to me in my studio, and I write part of that off so that I get to help my wife write part of her house off. That's $1,000 an hour. It's more about like $4,000 total. So you're looking at about $6,000 for a tribute band that I get. Hence the 30% on tax, which is minus $1,800 off of the $6,000, is about $4,200 for the show for 2 hours worth of work. And I'm explaining it in actual money and how it is, and everything is accounted for. Everything. One of these is on partial the LLCs with the Hair Days and the rentals and everything else. So you make fun of me as a cover band guy. I make more per show than you do a week playing for Joe Walsh. Let that sink in. You get maybe $1,000 a show. If you did 3 shows, and I know Joe Walsh ain't paying that because he's doing 3,500 seaters on his own. He did 10,000 seaters when he opens up for Bad Company, but that's the main draw. That Joe Walsh is not going to draw that. I looked it up, 3,500 seaters on average. So you figure by the time the tickets and the taxes and everything, he's paying you probably $700-800 a show. Times 3, $2,100 a week. Do your taxes, you're 30% on that, minus 600, you're down to about 1,500 for the week. Not bad, but I make that per show more than. So again, you stick your foot in your mouth, and then somebody like me with documentation, and you're like, fuck, now you're going to be at your house. Now this is just in reference because you don't understand the business. You're a good guitar player, but you're not in the business like me. You don't have all these LLCs and S-Corps and everything else. You don't rent your gear back to yourself. Why? Because you're dumb. You should be renting everything back to yourself. And you should have it listed like a airport hangar to get reduced insurance rates and everything because it's an armed facility and blah, 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 and the whole 9 yards. I'm very good with business because I hire the best in the business. Now, when you look at that and you go back down to here and you look at, and cover this up again, that's the name of the company. These are real. This isn't fake. I can open any one of these books. And then I could go in here and pull out sheets with invoices. 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 Filing instructions. This, that. It's all in there. So Tom, you stuck in your foot in your mouth about the rat. You stuck your foot in your mouth about me not having money. And I'm proving it to you with financials. Now, I'm not going to show you number per number what I make. Now, on the hair days, I make a lot of fucking money with that band. And that's what I told Bad Brad. Dude, you don't understand. We make a lot of money down here. And then he looked into it and goes, yeah, these bands are making a lot of money. So, let's start off with my guitar right here. Let me see if I don't bang it up. Bang it up. And you're going to get to listen to this versus an Ephiphone. We're going to do the most expensive right here. But then see, you have that. So if I turn this off, tinny as fuck. Why? Because the metal in these are all nickel. Even these old time period kind of things. It's all nickel. And nickel bends, nickel sucks. That's why there's less nickel and guitars are made better. Those old frets didn't last. They were nickel. The old strings weren't coated. They were nickel. They were good for 1 or 2 shows and that was it. Then they would rust. Because it was metal, pure metal on top of pure metal. They didn't coat shit back then. They didn't coat the wires. That's why there was a lot of fucking hum. Things are made better today, Mr. Bukovac. Hence, a $700 Ephiphone Les Paul I bought, which they're probably around $1,000 to $1,200 now, because it is a Kiss signature. Now, if you look at the strings, they're very old. Dead. Sounds great. Even with old strings. Why? The pots have better metals. The wires are better coated. Everything in this is made better. Now let's take, this one's a few thousand. This is one of 300 made. This bitch heavy. And I love the Nashville bridge more so than the regular AB bridges. Why? And Gus, you're more than welcome to use this video. I give you 100% permission to show and disprove how Uncle Teabags is wrong. So let's go to 120th anniversary. Now, a lot of people pick this. Now, I don't have the Randy Rose Custom here. That guitar has been sold. Now here's what I'm going to say to you guys. If you want closer to a 59 sound on a modern Les Paul, you have to get something that has a boost, because it gives it a treble boost and a gain boost, and it makes it very clean, like bright. But if I take this off, it's just like a medium bright. So this 120th anniversary sounds more like a 59 than any of the guitars, and that's why that guitar was picked in the blind test the most. Now, I used this the other night. This is a Les Paul Studio Custom, and I use this with Patrick and the Beast. Great sounding playing guitar. It's my favorite. Maybe. Till this bad boy right here. Bad boy. This is the last fit. This is a 58 custom shop reissue, but it is an older one. There is a difference. Now, very similar sound to the white one, but the difference is it's a lot more articulate. It's cleaner, even though it has the thickness. So there you go. There's a shootout of, I don't know how many Les Pauls. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, how much better is it than a $1,000 Fender Prodigy? None. This $1,000 Fender Prodigy, I don't even know what they go for anymore, is one of the better sounding playing guitars, period. For $1,000. Now that sounds better than my Ephiphone, but the Ephiphone has older strings. So there you go. There's an exclusive 59 versus a USA Fender versus, let me see, what did I say? How many? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6 Les Paul Shootout. What else can we throw in the mix? No, let's not do that. We could do the EVH or the GL, but I think you guys get my point. That guitar is not worth its weight in gold. What it's worth is whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. The wood is the only thing good on that. The tuning pegs, the fucking new pickups I put in there, the fucking, which are it's a newer pickup geared as a PAF to be imitated as a 59 PAF. The original pickups are in a bag and they're completely rusted. The wiring is shit rusted, Everything on those go bad. And right now I have to replace the tuners to see if I can get those fixed. They're they're a 70s historic, like around 1970. So they're a little bit older tuner. The tuner's replaced. If you watch some of the older videos, the pickguard's been replaced. The pickup covers have been replaced. Same on the 58. Not everything lasts. A lot of that plastic goes. That's completely custom, the white one. Now the silver one's all stock. But there you go. There's a Shootout with Les Pauls done right in front of you. Tom and anyone that calls these holy grails are full of shit. And did you hear any immense better playing? Does the guitar give me mojo? Did you hear anything that went, whoa? When he pulled that 59 up, he played like a god. No. My ability is what my ability is. Doesn't matter what I play on. I will always sound the same unless I practice more. Ran it through the same exact patch through the EVH through a cab. And you're hearing it straight into a mic. There's no boards, no anything. You're hearing it direct into a recording. A direct recording with no extra preamps from a board or anything. This is a direct recording. Not through a record. It's coming through an amp going right into the iPad. Now again, the only reason why I took that thing out is the tuners. I had somebody look at it who was thinking about buying it, and he was like, man, I was asking $375, and I had all the original parts with the original case, and he was like, oh man, that's tempting. Would you do $300? No. I have all the original parts. I have all the original frets. I have the original, everything is wrapped up in paper towels, and those paper towels and the rags are in oiled things. Now, screws and stuff that are rusted, they're in, like, wrapped up in paper towel. But the actual bridge is wrapped in oil rags and put in a Ziploc bag, and that's in the case. The original pickguard, the original tuners, the original everything, cracked, broke. It's all in the case. So that guitar probably won't be here much longer. It probably is going to go out for a repair, and then we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I don't even repair it and I just throw it back into the fucking hanger. I mean, it's an endless amount of work that goes into these, and you have to modernize them for them to sound good. So that Holy Grail shit is all smoke blowing up people's ass. And what's it do? Realistically, it creates a divide. See, this is where Tom doesn't understand. And he's been brainwashed. And the news brainwashes him. And the information that comes out on guitar magazines brainwashed him. And this brainwashes him. Nobody can tell me exactly what somebody's playing on any album unless they read it. Steely Dan. Hey, whatever. What was the amp exactly used in the tuning setting? I don't know. Did it sound good and did you enjoy the song? Yeah. Hey 19. Yeah, we enjoyed it. It's a great song. So who gives a fuck what was played on there? You're not that guy. You're not going to create that sound. That was him at that moment running through an old board with old electrical fucking boxes that haven't been upgraded back in the 60s, 70s. Those old panels had different electricity, different kind of wiring, different amounts of steel in the wiring from the 60s. All that's been replaced, more than likely. Power conditioners and this and that and tubes. Are tubes better than they were back then? I think so. The way they make the glass and stuff, they're more this older stuff was more fragile and susceptible to break. So what do we get out of this video? That people like to create divides for their own benefit out of feelings and agendas. When realistically, do I give a fuck who lives next door to me? No. Just abide by the law. Don't keep your house looking like trash. And if you're a tranny, Don't be out in your backyard with your dick swinging around where everyone can see it. If you want to sunbathe naked, more power to you. Put some fucking fencing and brush up so that no one can see you. So when I'm out in the backyard throwing a fucking ball around with my dog, I don't have to see you. Other than that, I don't give two shits. Honestly, I don't care if you're Muslim, I don't care if you're Jewish, I don't care if you're black, Hispanic, trans. I don't give a fuck. You have to answer for yourself. Worry about yourself. That's how I feel about our country. We shouldn't be worrying about everybody else. We should be worrying about here, now, how to help people, how to benefit people, how to do things the right way in our country. Better roads, like guitars, better roads, better metals, better construction, property tax on a house that's been paid for, no. Insurance, no, you get a discount. If you pay your house off and you own your house, you should get a break in your insurance. Why? You own it outright. Good for you. Let's start rewarding the citizens. Citizens that buy and pay off a house, let's start rewarding them. Not businesses. Citizens that own houses, the people that pay a majority of the tax overall. Mr. DeSantis, I live in Florida. Eliminate property tax. Don't put it on a fucking ballot. And that should have been on the ballot the first year you were there. Why 8 years later you're putting it on a ballot when you're not here? That stuff should have been already done. I mean, we should have a separate group instead of internal affairs at the police department looking at police records. He's got 50 complaints against him for violent behavior. Get rid of the motherfucker. Like Hegseth said, I'm not for him either. But we shouldn't have fat police officers. No offense, fat guys, because I'm not exactly in shape anymore either. I haven't been able to work out since the surgeries, and I haven't worked out in 20, 30 years, since I was around 40. So 15, 40, 50, 20 years ago was around the last I worked out. But that stuff is true. Our firefighters should be in shape. We should be hiring the best of the best. Firefighters, police, paramedics, all in shape. So they could kick in a door in a fire and go in there brazen and pull somebody out with one hand while they're... I mean, we need superheroes in those positions that understand the law. And I don't understand why police don't take law classes. I don't understand why we don't do hormone checks every year as part of a checkup. And I mean, why not? I'm all for hormone checks. You got to take hormones to transition. Well, let's get your levels checked to make sure that you're on the right side to begin with. Maybe it's affecting your pathways to learning. Maybe you're the kid in class in middle school that just doesn't get it. Maybe your hormone levels are off. Even if you're not transitioning or think you're a girl, maybe your hormones levels are off. Hormones are dictated by a lot of things, including sunlight, color, frequencies, music frequencies. So that's how I get into that kind of stuff, is because I understand how colors have frequency, and the earth spins at like 7.3, 7.8 hertz, Schumann, and all everything that they figure out. If you want to be a study and a great engineer in constructing music, you have to refine it. I mean, if you're doing it for a hobby, that's one thing. But I get into it very deep. Not just music theory. I get into the theory of sound. Frequencies. How it plays a role in colors. So when you have a banner up and you're playing certain frequency, it's very pleasing. The first thing they do is see. Second is hear. Smell. Taste. There's a lot that goes into marketing a band. Sight. Sound. The show. There are certain things that you can do to make you successful. Start getting into frequencies, sound, color. It will benefit you greater than the next guy, because now you're putting yourself up here on an educational level. How many guys have you ever heard teaching guitar talk about frequencies? Not just modes, but frequencies. How air is pushed. And what is air? It's the vibration of the speaker. Speaker has angles. Speaker has angles. Angles. Line array. Angles. Sound. Line array. Angles. Should I have a line array guitar cabinet so that the sound comes out not one direction? Oh, but they have tops that are slanted, pointed up. See, then you get into the physical part of sound. But isn't that important? After all, when I go into this and I start messing with frequency in the fractal, I have more control over my fractal in sound than a tube amp. What do you mean? I have frequency spectrums in here. I can adjust the frequency curves. I can roll, if the bass is too much on an old amp that's been processed into here, I can roll off the lows. I can roll off the highs by frequency. Not just bass, which is an overall, but actually tapping into certain bass frequencies so that I don't lose that sound. So why do I choose fractal? Not because it sounds great. I have more control over frequency. When you look at those big boards and all those buttons in a row, what are most of those doing? High, mid-high, low-high, mid-low, mid this, low, mid. It's frequencies. Study, study, study. This is the holy grail of sound video. Did you learn anything from a $700 guitar to a $400,000 guitar? I think so. Now, I know this video is long, right? Let's do one other thing, and let me show you what I do with my pick. Where's my pick? Did I throw it? What did I do with it? It's on here. What did I do with my pick? My pick. There's a pick. There's a crayon. There's my pick. Let's do one other thing real quick. Oh, it's already plugged in. Let's take this guitar real quick, right? Now if I go into this and I hit enter, I can add an EQ or a compressor. I can compress the frequency, make it overall pop. Well, let's go into the amp real quick. Let's go page by page. My first page has gain, bright, bass, mid. Let me turn the bright on. These are just switches, like toggles on the amp. What did that do? Let me see. Let's just go out and go back in. Normal gain, treble gain, page, peaking. Here's a frequency curve. And I don't think I can pull this up so you can see it, but I can roll the frequency in this. Now, let me see if I can pull this for you guys without destroying anything. This is in the amp. I can roll my curve and frequency off. So if I go to, let's see, my next page, there's a graphic EQ on top of a roll off for frequency. There's another page to the amp, another page to the amp, another page to the amp, another frequency page, another amp page. And then at the end, I can do the masters and control everything from here. Then I hit exit. So let's go back into there. Amp. Edit. Let me go back. So let's go back all the way to the pages. So that'll tell me my amp. There's my treble gain, my normal gain. There's the frequency page. This is very important because modern technology is going to allow you to have more control over your amp sound where you're stuck with maybe a poor tube that's not burning as hot as it should be. In here, I don't have that issue, and I can roll up any diode, anything that I need to make it sound. So like, let's say, oh, I unplugged everything, didn't I? Let's see, can we plug it in quickly? Let me see. Because I can show you the amp curve. Now let's not get into that. So let's put it like this. If you want me to do an in-depth thing on Fractal and why it's so much better than an amp and why I use it, and I go page by page and we go through the sounds, let me know if you want to see something like that. Because this is already a 35-minute video. It's very long. But this is the reason why I use Fractal. I have a lot of control over frequency. And frequency is the key to tone. Most people that are using a head or an amp should be having a graphic EQ in the loop. Why? It's like putting a mixing board in between your cab and your head, creating the perfect match sound. More control over frequency. That is the secret ultimate source. It's like, that's how these guys go into the recording studio like Halen, run through a mixer and can't replicate that sound. You need to put that in the amp. How do you do it? With a graphic EQ. Very interesting. If you get an MXR 10-band EQ or a parametric EQ, that will benefit you. I use those in here inside the loops. That is very, very, very fucking important. And this is the kind of thing that Tom doesn't get with the guitars and the amps. You're miking an amp. It's not the true sound. It goes into a mixing board with a bunch of rack effects. That amp sound in the room is not the amp sound that you hear on the record. 1,000 fucking percent. Never have I ever heard a deluxe tweed and go, fuck, that's a 1967 deluxe tweed. I could tell by the record. I know that time. No one has that good of an ear. So now, with this in mind, what's happened to the ultimate sound argument? That's not a holy grail. That amp you're using is not a holy grail. You're running into an analog board with a bunch of rack gear and then a whole nother set of EQ. You're not using the old non-coded strings. It's all bullshit. End of discussion, end of story. Anybody want to argue with me? And put money on it? I'll go talk to 10 amp incredible enthusiasts that are actually amp professional builders. Sound guys. Sound men make or break you. How come Van Halen never sounded like the first album? Or the second album? What do you mean? How come that sound on the record was never produced live? Close, with the effects and everything. How come he didn't have that sound live? Listen to Unchained in California live, and then listen to it on the studio. It's a similar sound, but it's not the recorded tone, because he's running through a mixer, through a bunch of rack gear, and blah, blah, blah. And who controls that? Your sound guy live. So unless you put all that rack gear used on every song at the exact same settings, whether it's digital or not, song by song, because they're all recorded not in different takes in different studios. Studio A reverb, Studio B reverb. So song to song, that rack gear and that board has to change to recreate something like that. There you go. So all these guys that talk about the Holy Grail bullshit and the fucking old amp bullshit, and I'm just an amp. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Now, I'm not telling you to run out and buy a Fractal. I'm telling you why I like it. Because I have my control. I'm the sound engineer over my own tone. Run everything at 12, Mr. Sound Guy. Don't put no effects on there. I have all of it dialed in exactly the way I want. If you need to add a little more bass or bring me up in the level, more power to you, because your speaker design may be different than what I hear it through. Bingo bammo. Does every car get the same tune-up? No. Does every car use the same oil? No. Does every car use the same gas? Nope. Well, every amp isn't run through the same mixer. Every amp isn't run through the same rack gear. And then who tuned your guitar? Is he the same guy that tuned it on the album? Is he the same repair guy that was repairing your guy? Is the same mechanic the same mechanic on all your cars, or is he a specialty mechanic only on Lamborghinis? So if you take your Toyota to a Lamborghini specialist, is he gonna know how to tune that up properly? Probably not. He'll get it close, but he's gonna have to read the specs and figure out what he's got to do. Think about it. Just think about it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this has a massive amount. And this is what I don't understand. So like, I'm not bashing Tom, but Zakk, you can't make videos and then say you're a stalker and then you make videos about me. You look like exactly what you described. You're eliminating yourself from credibility. All these nuclears and the bobs. And by the way, here's a little tip for everybody that I would suggest not doing. Going on a government site and looking up people's old records. Because that gets a login and they'll trace your IP address and they'll see who you are and why you're looking into such an old arrest. Oh, you didn't think of that? Better not have some kitty shit on there or some drug deals, because they will find you and report you. It's called the Patriot Act. That was to be used for terrorists, but they use it against us. Hope. If you don't think you're being monitored and information shared, don't think that when you go on a government site and they get a hit and they get alerted somebody's in the website looking up this case, a high profile case. Mine went over 10 years. Don't think a case that spent millions of dollars trying to get somebody in trouble and they couldn't, that you go on there and they're not going to track you and see who you are and look up your address and go through your phone and your computer and look to see exactly who you are. Just think about it. Just think about it. People don't think. People don't think. People don't think. People don't think. I'm here to do the thinking for you and to explain my opinion. Now, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can go on a government website, but I'm just saying there could be repercussions, especially if your record's not clean. I'm just saying. Hey, baby, I'm coming over to the bar. I'm fucking trash. Can I come hit you up for a booty call? Oh, he's married. I'm sure his wife would like that. Now, would they do something that stupid? Probably not. But drinking and driving? There's a record of it? Oh, yeah. Especially if you're in a lawsuit. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out.